So we've got Jeff joined in, and we've got Nicole joined in. Super cool. So how to position, package, and pitch your offer to sign 3 to 5 premium clients for talented entrepreneurs ready to play at the winning level. So the biggest limiting beliefs, and I'm going to jump straight in here. I'm going to bust these limiting beliefs straight out of the gate. So limiting beliefs that are stopping most coaches from signing premium clients is one, people can't afford premium. That is total BS. I'm also going to speak to the truth, right, throughout all of this. What you'll realize as well, as I'm talking through this, I am speaking to people that are ready to move forward. I'm not speaking to people that are still on the struggling bus, that's been on the struggling bus for a long time, that's still stuck at solving the same problem, and they've been there for quite a few years. I'm like, you might have been there, but you're ready to move away from that, right? So I'm everything, all my dialogue in today's training is speaking to those people that's ready to shift. You've either made a shift but it's not working, or you've been sat on the fence for too long and you're ready to jump. So most people say to me, one of the common objections is that people, like, the world right now can't afford premium. There's money in flow. There's a lot of money in flow. Despite what governments say, what your local council say, what your local senator says, whatever, money is in flow. There's an abundance of money in the world today, and people are spending money on coaching, mentors, leaders, and they're also investing in other areas of life as well. And I'm going to showcase to you today, very simply, very easily, like, there's money in flow. And it's about adapting a money, an abundance or an affluent money mindset, shall I say. Also as well, premium buyers are rare. There's plenty of premium buyers out there. We're just going to do our due diligence, which I'm going to help you on this training, to tick the biggest box that's going to allow you to attract premium clients when they see you or when you get in front of them, so they see that you're ready for them. And also, number 3, premium buyers won't buy from me. This is potentially the biggest thing that I hear from most coaches, is like, they'll not buy from me. Have you ever said that to yourself? Have you ever said, like, why would they buy from me? I'm not good enough. They're not going to see me as an expert, right? Well, we're going to bust that. But I'm also going to speak to why potentially that's also the case as well, why you're feeling that. So let me ask you a question. Who knows? And I know that you know, right? Who's got this deep inner confidence, whilst it's not happening externally, but you know that you've got a 7K, 15K, might be a 5K, it might be a 25K, but you've got a premium offer inside of you, but you just do not know what that looks like, or equally how to package and sell that. Julie, you're nodding your head, right? That's you, right? And I know we've had a conversation around this, right? We've had a conversation around this already. Well, Dr. Darlene, she came to me and she was exactly the same position. She was already selling at a 5K offer. Selling 5K was no problem at all for Dr. Darlene. But she knew that she had a 25K offer inside of her. But again, her own words, she just, I don't know what that looks like, how to package that, how to sell that, how to articulate that. And she was stuck there for quite some time. Now, whilst this is not a 25K offer, she positioned a 25K offer in her first 30 days, and she ended up selling a 15K offer. Right? So still, she 3x'd, or 300% increase on a 5% offer. And how we were able to do that is by positioning, by packaging, and by pitching the right way. So quality clients, you don't create quality clients by learning another sales script or by building another funnel, or by thinking that you need to add on more bonuses in that's worth $225,000 in order to sell to a premium client, or to sell at a premium level, or equally to put more time inside the coaching container because you feel as though, well, if I give more time or give more information, that's going to increase the value of what it is that you're selling. And I've spelled perform wrong there, right? Equally, you don't have to perform like a dancing bear on Reels. I don't know why the coaching industry has started TikToking and dancing on like a dancing bear on Reels to sell like ticket offers. I just don't get it, because that's not adding value to the marketplace. And equally, they're not positioning people at the right level in order to be able to showcase authority. And it's also not about just increasing your prices. Like, I've hired many coaches in the time, and they said, Andy, just increase your prices. Andy, just put another zero on the end of what you're already charging and people will pay it. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. But let me just quickly speak to two of these things here, right? Because potentially most coaches feel this, and I've had many conversations around this. Adding more bonuses or giving more time inside your coaching container. Your next level client, right, that's ready to invest 5K, 8K, 10K, 12K, 30K, they're already information overloaded. They already know what they need to do, but they just can't do it themselves. So when they come to you to invest at this level, they're not investing in you because they want more information. What they're investing in is actually for you to reduce the information, to strip away the information, not to give them more information. Because if you give them more information, if you give them more bonuses, then that means, oh wow, I need to sit through and watch another 33 Kajabi videos, or listen to all these podcasts. They don't want more information. They want you to reduce information. They're coming to you to make it simpler, not add on more overwhelm. And also coaching time. They don't necessarily want to speak to you every day, every week. They don't. If they could get the results without speaking to you, then they would do. But unfortunately, they can't, so they need you, but they don't want to spend more time with you. But when it comes to charging premium, automatically we feel as though we need to give more and provide more. And actually, the opposite is the truth. The opposite is the truth. So let me just give you a different story of mine, because I've got many different stories, and I pulled up on a specific story today that potentially you've never heard. So obviously we've all been in a situation where we tried to figure it out. Now, when I started my consultancy business going back over 13, 14, 15 years ago offline, before I pivoted online, I built a successful company. And very, very quickly, 3 to 4 weeks, I signed 12 to 15 clients up. I was networking 3-4 times a day. People got to know me very, very quickly. So it was a lot easier for me to get clients. Really, really easy to get clients. Getting clients was never a problem. I never even thought that getting clients would be a problem. And I just went to networking events. So very quickly, I hit 7K, 10K months. However, on the back end of that, because obviously I was green, I was fresh, I was new, I've never been in business before, never hired anybody before. I just had a sales background, and I knew how to generate leads, and I knew how to close deals. And I obviously had a skill set that I could sell. A service that I could sell that people needed. But there were a lot of things I didn't know. So obviously I found out the hard way. And with all these clients that were bringing on board, I was working 18, maybe more hours per day. My weekends went. Clients demanded more from me, yet they wanted to pay less. They missed deadlines, but expected me to sacrifice my time. They showed up on meetings late. I showed up early because that's just the way that I operate. I did everything on my side and above, but they showed up on late. They never delivered on time. They always missed their benchmarks, but they always pointed the finger blaming me. So I was always the person that were giving. They were taking, and it was very, very hard. Things started to collapse around me. I started to change. My health started to deteriorate. My fitness levels went. My social life went. I started deteriorating. My eyes were dark. My skin was terrible. And I wasn't operating and performing at a level that I should be and what I was used to. So something had to give. Here's what I did. I sacked every single one of my clients. Not because I had enough money, I didn't. But because I knew that something was wrong. And that thing that was wrong was my positioning. That thing that was wrong was my positioning. So I knew that I needed to change that. So I sacked all my clients. I actually took the morning off, went and sat in Starbucks. I wrote out on a thick notebook what I was doing. If I carried on, what would happen? Where am I heading? What do I want business to look like? And I wasn't going to leave Starbucks until I left answering all those questions, but in-depth questions. I went deep. The outcome of that is I decided I had to make a clean cut, sacked all my clients, terminated all the client agreements, and I went in a different path. And this is what I did. I repositioned myself in the marketplace. Let me show you the results. So the next 2 weeks, I didn't learn a new tactic. I didn't send more messages. I didn't work harder. I repositioned myself and everything changed. I signed an 18,000 client, which if you've ever heard of Action Coach is a coaching franchise that helps people to be business coaches. And I signed one of the biggest action coaches in the UK, 18,000 actual pounds, not dollars. So you're probably looking at $22,000. I booked a £2,000 VIP day. And then at the end of the VIP day, I upsold that gentleman into a £25,000 year package. Just by simply up-leveling my positioning. Not doing anything different. My offer stayed the same. The outcome stayed the same. But I up-leveled my positioning and my package. So the truth that you've not been told, right? Again, my offer did not change. My positioning did. You see, low-level positioning attracts low committed clients. It's the truth. Low trust clients, it's the truth. Low investment clients, it's the truth. High level positioning attracts high committed clients, high trusted clients, and high investment clients. All of that is the truth. Here's the thing that I really want you to understand and embrace, because I didn't seek permission from anybody to do it. I didn't wait for anybody to say, Andy, you need to climb high up the ladder. I upgraded myself. Most people today, they're waiting for permission. They're seeking permission. They're waiting for somebody to come and put a badge on the lapel saying, Nicole, you are now good enough. Jeff, you are now good enough. Julie, you are now good enough. You should be doing this. Jeff, most coaches that come to me, they're playing so small. And that's why they're attracting clients that can't invest. That's why they get to the end of the sales conversation and they say, you're just a little bit out of my budget. I'll come back to you later, but then you never hear from them again. The attraction is wrong. You've got the right offer, but they're just not ready for you right now. Maybe later, maybe soon, but right now they're just not ready for you. But there's people in the world that's ready for you. But you've got to give yourself permission to step up, to upgrade your positioning in the marketplace. So if we just have a look at this graph that I put together, down the left-hand side, we've got low-level caliber, we've got mid-level caliber, we've got high-level caliber. At the bottom, we've got reactive, the doer, the strategic, the authority. And as you are building your business, you will go along the path at the bottom, right? You will be that reactive coach where, like, nothing's working for you. You will be that reactive coach where you're jumping from strategy to strategy, looking for tactic to tactic. That reactive coach attracts low-level caliber people. And then as you become more sophisticated in business and more pissed off with where you're at and you're moving forward, right, then you will want bigger, better things, and you'll just like keep drawing that line in the sand. I'm not tolerating this anymore. I want to move forward. I want bigger and better. And you will move through these dynamics. And as you move through them, you will attract better quality clients. So the doer, right? The transactional client. This is where you're potentially going to get clients between $97 and $200. And then you've got the most strategic clients. And then you've got the authority. Once you're in the authority, that's when you're going to start attract like all-in clients. But in order to get all-in clients, guess what? Well, you also have to mirror that. If you want clients that's going to go all in, that's going to say yes on that first call, that's going to invest the level that you want them to invest in, right? You've got to be that all-in person as well. You've heard it before, right? Like attracts like. It's the mirror effect that's happening. But it starts with you. You have to move forward first. You lead forward first. And that's the most empowering thing, I believe, is that you get to move forward. You get to move forward. So if you want premium clients, climb higher. Not chase harder. Climb higher. Now, don't take my words out of context when I said don't chase, right? Because I don't chase, but I follow up. Two different things. Right? Some people will hear don't chase, meaning that you should not follow up. In business, you've got to follow up because the fortune is in the follow-up. But we're not chasing needy people, trying to convince them, trying to persuade them, trying to put the thumb screws on them, right, to get them to buy. So if you want premium clients, what do? We climb higher. At the time when I sacked all my clients, my family, who I love to death, and they have my best interest at their heart, my brother, my closest friends, do you know what they said to me? Andy, it's obviously hard selling coaching. It's obviously people are not wanting to invest in coaching. Andy, obviously you're struggling. Andy, would it not be easy to get a job? Would it not be easy to go back into employment and be a sales executive or whatever it may be? And I could have gone down that path, but I knew, right, there was a different path. And I knew that if I just climbed higher, I saw that. That's one thing that I knew and I understood and I saw. But for some reason, I just didn't do it when I first started. So I climbed higher. So premium clients align with premium positioning. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about positioning it. We're going to be talking about packaging it. And we're also going to be talking about pitching it. So let's start off here. From generic to iconic. So if we look at the red boxes, most coaches are operating in the red boxes, right? Most coaches, generic life coach, generic sales coach, generic nutritionalist. And most coaches that come to me, when they come to me, they are generic. Even the coaches that feel as though they're not generic, when like a sales coach, they think they've niched down, which honestly is a word that I don't like and never use. But they're very generic in what they do. So their positioning is very generic. And if you don't have that iconic message, especially today in today's marketplace, it's like you've got to have this iconic message to stand out above and beyond anybody else. Because as we know, the world's a lot busier, the world's a lot noisier, and there's more people coming into this space each and every day. So you've got to be that person that stands out above and beyond anybody else in your marketplace. But here's the thing, right? Once you understand what I'm going to walk you through today, it's easy to do that. And it's easy to do that because most people are thinking, well, I just need another funnel, or I just need to learn email marketing, or I just need to learn my better skill sets, right? Which are things that do help you, but that's not the thing that's actually going to help you to generate premium quality clients. So if we look at underneath the generic positioning, generic life coach, these are real life examples of clients that's come to me in the past. So I helped one client go from generic life coach to helping thrive after rape for professional females. That's iconic positioning. We are solving a specific problem for a specific person. Now, I'm not changing what she does. She's still a life coach. The skill sets in what she does inside her life coaching is still going to help the people. So she's not changing her offer, she's changing her position. Does that make sense? Right? Sales coach. This was Julie Svetberg, who did $50,000 in around about 90 days. She came as a sales coach. We positioned her as a roofing contractors, working with roofing contractors, ready to close $1 million deals. Iconic positioning, right? We're helping a specific person generate a specific outcome. Let me just go back to the first example, right? We've got Thrive in there. We could have had there rape victims, but we didn't want to speak to victims. Does that make sense? Right? Because unfortunately, she's a business owner and she can't serve everyone. Right now, she needed to serve herself because she needed to make her business profitable. She can serve the masses with her message, but with her offer, she's serving specific people. So it was important that we wanted to attract those who wanted to thrive after rape, after having that experiencing that awful situation. The latter one, a nutritionalist, and she was a nutritionalist for years, and for years she struggled to book calls, get better quality clients, and to have a business that was sustainable and to have a business that was profitable. After extracting a lot from her, this was the perfect path for her to help professional females thrive through postmenopause. Still helping them with their nutrition, but the positioning went higher. We got dialed in with the person and with the problem. Does that make sense? Can you see the dynamics in shifts? Because what does this then do after this, beyond this? This then now allows you to create an iconic message. And your message that you put out there to the world is designed and engineered and structured to speak to this level of caliber of person. So now your messaging is more dialed in. So right now, if your content isn't landing and you're blaming the algorithm, maybe that's not the problem. So everything external of your offer is an extension of your offer. So it's important that your positioning and your offering, your packaging is nailed. Yeah, few things landing, Julie. So this is a prime example, recent example. Caroline, who started only a week ago, and not that she was a generic coach, but everything that she was talking about was meditation, was journaling, was identity shift work, but it wasn't necessarily speaking to a specific person about a specific problem. And she had none of this branding whatsoever. This is how quick you can move forward, because within a week, we've now dialed in positioning, packaging, pricing, and a message. And now she's now she's ready to go out there to actually start building her own micro events. So this is Caroline. Caroline now has stepped up into a higher positioning where she's now a wealth identity recalibration architect, helping female realtors who are living below their true level of power, wealth, and self expression. And here's what they're wanting to do. Oh, I haven't got that other slide in. I thought I had. I apologize. Right, but she's now helping luxury female realtors who are struggling to sell low ticket properties to sell $1 million to $5 million real estate. What she does hasn't changed, so her skill sets are still going to help. It's the same offer, but the way that we've positioned it, the way we've packaged it, is to speak to a high caliber of clientele that instantly when they see this is going to speak to them. Also as well, this level of clientele, they've got a bigger stake in the game, right? They've got more to lose, if that makes sense. So now, because she still might have this belief of, well, will people still pay, right? Is people still paying premium for coaching? And this is what we need to understand about the world. Not necessarily about coaching per se, but this is what we need to understand about the world. So I want to take you through what I call the buyer world framework. And the truth most coaches don't realize. And it's not your fault. It's because you're not taught this. So there's an entire ecosystem, there's entire economies built around premium buyers. All right, just let that sink in. There's private clubs that require $400,000 just to join, and then monthly and yearly subscriptions after that. There's first class flights that cost £30,000. There's private masterminds that cost £50,000, $50,000, $100,000. And these businesses don't struggle to find buyers. They're just built in a different world. And they're built for a different world. But most coaches don't build for this world. They're building for a smaller world. Right? So we need to build, we need to understand this, see this, accept this, and step up into this. So literally the world will pay you what you ask. Now, there's only a few people here that know me quite in depth. One of those people is Cheryl Lee. She's still here. Like, I'm not a woo-woo type of guy, right? So this is not like the manifestation type of phrase, right? But the world will ask what you pay, what you ask of it. But if you only ask low level ticket, you'll get low level ticket. But if you start stepping up and playing a bigger game, and start climbing the ladder and start asking premium, the world will deliver premium. And I proved that inside my story just by stepping up the ladder, right? Just by climbing higher. But that also needs to go in alignment with the amount of responsibilities that you're willing to take as well. Most coaches are wanting premium clients, but they're not willing to take on the responsibilities with that as well. And there's not really a lot of responsibilities, but you've got to be responsible for showing up at a high level and responsible for delivering the results that you promise, if that makes sense, right? So let's look at this polar opposites, right? Same product, different buyer world. Same product, different buyer world. You can buy Starbucks coffee in the UK for around about £4.30. You can also buy Black Ivy coffee for £300 a cup. It's the same product. It's the same product, but that product's being designed for different worlds. Starbucks has not been designed for premium. Black Ivy coffee, which you obviously get in luxurious places in London, right, at £300 a cup. And it's there to meet the demand of people that want to invest at that level. Let's have a look at other examples. Cadbury's chocolate. You can buy Cadbury's chocolate here in the UK for £1.50, even less. But also you can buy Toak chocolate at between $300 and $450 a bar. Same product, different world, different buyers. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Right? Another example, same product, different buyer world. Anybody can join YMCA for a membership, £29, £40 a month, or £300 annually. Anybody can join YMCA, but in the Yellowstone Club in Montana, the cost of intuition fee is $400,000 with $41,000 annual payments. It's a club, but not anybody can join that club. Right? That club is only exclusive to that caliber of person. Also, the club in Hawaii, $400,000 intuition fee. And then we've got $22,000 annual payments. Same product, but it's designed for a different buyer. Most coaches, the way that they are operating is for the lower end market. And that's why they're attracting low quality, low level clientele. And I am not devaluing anybody in the world. But if you want to grow a business, right, it's going to be a lot harder serving those people. But there's other people out there in the world, right, that their business model is to serve those people. Right, so great. But if you want to play a bigger game, and if you want a more profitable business, then maybe you should be thinking about serving a different level clientele or buyer. That's okay, Julie. I'm going to help you understand that. Okay? And that's only because you can see it. You've got this offer inside of you. You can't understand why people would buy that from you because you can't see what that package looks like. If you can see what that package looks like and you know what the outcome is and you know who it is that you're serving, right, then you can see the value in it. But right now, everything is intangible. And what we need to do is we need to turn that intangible into something that's tangible. Make sense? So again, last example, same product, totally different buyer world. So I did the research yesterday for me to fly my family over to Dubai. Same flights, but flying economy and flying first class. Flying economy, Same time, same flight, same duration of flight. Obviously, it's got to be. Right? I can fly economy, 2,400, and what does that say? Just over 200, 2,400 pound. If I was choose to fly them first class, it would cost me £32, £32,000. Same flight, but a different experience. A different experience. Most people, when they board a plane, turn right. But there's a class of people that turn left. Same flight, same duration, same pilot, same plane. Different experience. They're paying for the luxurious, they're paying for the experience. Can you feel it, right? So now all of these products, again, that I've illustrated, they're designed to serve a different level, different caliber of people, because they understand something that most coaches don't. Once you see this, you're not going to be able to unsee it. So I want to step into the first section, which is positioning it. And this is what we need to do. And I'm going to give you an example as we go through this as well. So 3-point framework. And you might have seen this before, but the reason why I did all the pre-framing and all the educating up to this is to edify why we need to do this and the importance of this. Because chances are you might have seen this before, because there's nothing new out there. There's nothing new out there, but chances are you've just not been given the right education in order to be able to have a deep understanding of the importance of this. So we're going to work through this together. I'm going to give you some. I'm going to show you the framework, and then I'm going to show you an example, and then we're going to have a 5-minute implementation session where we can actually physically do this, and then you can come back and you share what you've done, and I can give you some coaching along the way. So number one is left-hand side, right? Is the pain. Understand who you help. What big problem are you solving? And why does this problem exist? Now, if you look at your marketplace, look at your current clients, look at the current clients where you're potentially thinking about serving, and think, okay, is there another caliber? Is there another level? Can you step up another level? Is there another caliber of person that's higher up the ladder, they're still struggling with the same problem, but where potentially they're going to have the resources to invest? So if we look at that, potentially that can only be something like somebody that's already potentially wealthy, somebody that's already potentially a professional business person, or career-driven person, or somebody that's already established. What big problem are you solving? We don't have to think too hard about this, but these are the things that a lot of people have been stuck on for so long, for too long. And they only need to be 1 or 2 words, 1 or 2 sentences. I'll show you an example. So, who do you help? What big problem are you solving? And just pick one problem, not a big host of a barrel of problems, just one problem. And then, why does that problem exist? Like, they're struggling. Why are they struggling? Why does that exist? And then we need to, like, this is their current situation, right? Left-hand side underneath the line. And then we need to ask number 2, okay, so what's their pleasure? What is the pleasure that they want to step into? What's the biggest outcome that you can help them achieve in this shortest amount of time? What's the one thing that they want the most? And that outcome needs to be um, what's the word I'm looking for? It needs to be a tangible outcome. Not just to gain more confidence. But we need to attach a tangible outcome. And again, if you're struggling with it, we can have 5 minutes and I can help you around that. And then once we understand the pain and want to understand the pleasure, then we need to understand number 3 is, well, how do you help the client? How do you help the client generate their desired results? So I would imagine there's like one technique, or there's something that you've mastered, or there's something that you are just absolutely a whiz at that generates the biggest results. There'll be a lot of things that you work them through, technologies or modalities or whatever it may be. I'm just going to grab a drink. So then it's understanding what that is. So we got the pain, we got the pleasure, and then it's understanding how you help them to do that. So let me give you an example. And this is an example of Caroline, right? So her pain of her ideal client is, number 1, who? Female luxury realtors. That's who. Simple, direct, specific. Problem. Their current problem is they're selling low ticket properties when their desire is to sell $1 million luxury real estate. Why are they struggling? Because they've lost their self-identity, but they know that they're here for millions. Are you with me? Can you see how I've simplified that? Really simple. And then if we look at the pleasure, the desired outcome that they really want, they're ready to sell 1 to 5 million real estate. That's what they're wanting. That's the desire. They want to show up unapologetically, and they're ready to become a match for millions. So here's what I want to do. We're going to take that framework and we're going to go back, and I want you just to, I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock, and we're not looking for perfection, right? But we're looking for somewhere to start. And let's just brain dump, right? Just write down, and don't overthink it. Keep it simple. And I know coaches love to overthink, right? And over complex things. Just keep it simple and just write down, first and foremost, who do you want to serve at this level? What problem are you solving for them? And why are they struggling with that problem? And then write down their ideal pleasure, and then have a think about, what is it that you do that would help them to generate the biggest results? And I'm going to put, I'll put 5 minutes on, 4.5 minutes, because I said I'm going to do it a while ago. Starting. And whilst you're doing that, I'm just going to speak to Julie's question that she asked earlier on. So I have a serious belief problem that feels like so much pressure to give results at that level. I would imagine they would expect. Um, so when it comes to coaching, like coaching is all about delivering results at whatever level, right? At whatever level, even at the lowest of levels. If somebody was to pay me $97, like I'm still expected to deliver results. So chances are the results are the same at whatever levels. It's just that you are now wanting to speak to people, higher caliber people, that still want the same results, but they understand the need for investing and they're willing to invest in them results. So we've just got to be in the mindset that it doesn't matter at whatever level somebody invests in us, as coaches, people hire us for results. Okay, 1 minute, 10 seconds left. If you've done it, and if you want to drop in chat, if you want to drop in what it is that you've come up with, and I can look at it, I can give you some feedback. Time's up. 5 minute flies fast when the clock's ticking. Okay, what have we got? Michelle, do you want to unmute? What have we got?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, a little bit of feedback there. Do you have Facebook open? Yeah, it's maybe feedbacking through that.
Is that better?
All right. No, it's because you've got two. You've entered the room with on your mobile or on another desktop or something. That's the reason why. So I'll mute one and just use the other one. Julie, have you got something? And we'll come back to Michelle.
I might.
You might. Okay, well, that's good enough.
I've been fiddling with this forever,
Okay.
but so one of the things that I've been working on is the Facebook banner because I just wanted to get it right. So, but I have a couple of options, and it says resilience is not something you're born with; it's something you build.
Right. Okay. So let's do this together, and we'll go through it step by step. So, who is your ideal client?
Well, that's the whole issue. Is it? I think it's people who are going through an event in their life that they don't know how to manage, and they don't know how to find the resilience and to survive it.
Okay. So can we be event specific?
Well, um, as you know, originally it was divorce, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't know an exact event. I mean, it could be any event in your life that comes along that is hard, that you didn't expect, that you feel out of control with. It could be divorce, it could be lost job, it could be um, all kinds of things. This is my whole problem is that I'm all over the place, right? And as you know,
Okay, so here's what we need to do. Because you can serve so many different people that's going through so many different events in their life, um, we need to pick one.
I know, right? I mean,
Right, which is the hardest thing. But we just need to pick one. So what is the biggest problem? And I'm going to bring it back to you. What's the biggest problem that you've overcome in your life?
well, mine truly was the worst 18-year
And
legal
I'm not here
battle.
to make you feel vulnerable or anything like that.
No, no, it's fine. I'm happy to share because I'm really sick of this.
Okay.
Um, the biggest problem that I have or did was surviving a very abusive marriage and leaving before our second child was born. Then it resulted in this 18-year legal battle, which was so ferocious and triggering and awful. And so, and I was at the same time, I was a caregiver. I had a full-time job. I was a single mom raising two kids. I do so many things all at once where life just piled on, piled on, piled on, and I made it. And yeah, it left me really wounded, but and a lot of PTSD that I've had to work through. But it was just my favorite words are growth, grace, and grit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned from it. I survived it. I'm thriving. My kids are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They're grounded. My love for them far outweighed his anger towards me.
Mm-hmm.
And I survived something that was almost insurvivable.
Well, okay, so let's speak to that, right? Because I know we've had conversations about, well, you don't necessarily want to serve that marketplace. And tell me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong, but chances are one of the reasons why you don't want to serve that marketplace is because you don't want to serve the people that's always victim mentality, that's always never moving forward, that's always having the deep dark conversations, and the conversations never move forward. So, can you climb higher?
I want to work with people who are like me,
Yes.
who,
You were stuck in victimhood.
yeah, I mean, he he kept me there, but I refused to stay there. And every
Right.
time he put me back there, I climbed out of it, and he put me back there, and I climbed out of it. It just went on and on and on, and and it was every single time he hit me with something, and he had an army of people that came after me.
Hmm.
I still stayed true to myself. I kept my integrity. I was honest. I wasn't vindictive or retaliatory or anything. I'm just like,
So
go.
there's plenty, right, of again climbing up the ladder, same marketplace, but different caliber of person, right? So there's going to be people, there's going to be females in this world who are professional executives, business owners, entrepreneurs, wealthy people that suffer with the same problem. They've been kept down um, by going through divorce, ugly divorces at that level, and they're not going to be a victim, but they need people to elevate them, to help them. Now, so you're not speaking with people at a lower level, right? Who just want to whinge and moan and not do anything about it. Those are
Yeah.
not the level of conversations that you want to have. You want to have conversations with people that the right conversations to move forward. They want to thrive through it,
Yes.
and they want to build a better life than they ever had before it. That's a
Correct.
different level of positioning, but still it's the same problem.
Yes. That is 100% true.
And you've mastered it. You've walked through it at that level.
I did. And I am so, I don't know how all I did it, but um I just did. And my love for my children just truly outweighed his anger towards me and his vindictive nature. And I just refused to change. I refused to lower myself to be in the gutter with how dirty and mean they were.
Right.
And
So you've now you've so we've identified it. We don't need to try to figure any more out about this. We're stopping in the same place, but we've climbed higher to speak to a different caliber person that wants to thrive through it. They want to build a better quality of life on the back end than they did before they went through it, before they were married, while they were married.
yeah, I definitely don't want to be re-traumatized
No,
living
you
people.
don't. You
I
don't
don't
want to
want,
have those conversations.
no, I don't. I refuse, and this is why I keep running away from this topic.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to have conversations with people who are just constantly struggling to get leads, constantly, right? We need to have better conversations. So we don't need to. You've got that. You've got that. You've already mastered yourself. We understand the pleasure. So then it's understanding, well, what do you think the one thing that you do for your clients or you will do for them that's going to make the biggest difference? Like, what's the one thing that you did for yourself that made the biggest difference?
I Well, for me, I I I want to empower them to know that they'll survive whatever their situation is and that there's hope and it will end.
Hmm.
But you you have to dig deep and you've got to have personal growth and you have to be willing to want that.
Is there anything specific in how you would work with them, um, that would help them to get the results? Like
If,
if you
if
look at modalities or techniques,
so
anything that you would always be revising and always bringing them back to doing it.
the one thing that was life changing for me, and I didn't understand this concept until it was taught to me, and someone pointed it out to me, and it's the event plus response equals your outcome. So it's a formula. So you have an event, how you respond to that said event determines your outcome. And so you make a decision on how you're going to respond. So you change your R, you change your O. And we find ourselves in events and then we decide how we're going to respond as opposed to reacting. And I think there's a big difference to learn reaction, 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 which is what we do when we're traumatized or, in life or upset or whatever.
Hmm.
But if you respond, if you take the time and respond, then you can literally change the outcome. For example, this was the big example for me. And we everybody does this in life. But it was pointed out to me because I was in this abusive situation. It was super terrifying. It got to a point where I just said no more. And so instead of reacting to him, I responded and I said, "That's it. I'm leaving." And the response that I made changed the entire outcome. So instead of staying stuck in this situation, I had two children. I did not groom my daughter to become a victim by role modeling victimhood.
Yep.
And I didn't allow him to groom my son to become an abuser because that was the role modeling that was going to happen if I stayed. So I stopped reacting to his awfulness. I mean, obviously, it went on for decades, afterwards, and I knew it would because Michael wasn't even born yet. But I have the two most amazing kids now, and they're not a victim and they're not an abuser.
So if you know that how you if you know the power of that response, how they respond, right? Then so you can call how you do this the respond method.
Okay.
So we now know we understand who we're speaking to, the level of caliber of person they want to speak to, the problem that the problem they're struggling with, why they're struggling with it. And this is just all a mirror of yourself. We understand the pleasure, the thing that they desire the most on the back end of coming out of it, and how you help them the most, and you can help them with a lot of different things as you work with them. But the biggest thing that you do with them is how they act and respond. So the respond method. That's how you help them.
So that's your product.
That's the way that that's your unique mechanism. That's
Okay.
your unique positioning. Does that make sense?
Yes. I'm writing it down.
Right? So this in itself is going to elevate your positioning. Positioning is the first thing we need to understand. As I mentioned in the voice note that I dropped inside Messenger earlier on, you can get all different types of clients. I want to help you to get 3 to 5 clients, but the right type of clients.
Right.
Right? That's going to change your world. So once we've got that down, we've done the exercise, and now it's about packaging it. So this simple framework turns into a package. And if I use the example that I've currently got with Caroline, female luxury retailers come to me feeling lost, broken, stuck, selling low ticket clients. And this is what I've got down here in the pain, the pleasure that they want, and they leave ready to attract and sell 1 to 5 million real estate using my match to millions method. Can you now see how I've packaged that?
Right.
Simple.
So do I focus on the people in a divorce? Do I focus on people in any sort of a life crisis? There's so many ways that this works, that this would work, the respond method.
So you need to be known. You need to be known or become known for helping one specific person with one specific problem to get one specific outcome. Here's the thing to answer that question, Julie, is when you bring clients on board, they will bring other problems to the table. Right? So what you do with your clients will ripple effect, and you'll have other conversations around other problems that they're having. Right? So you will solve other problems that they're struggling with. But inside your marketing message, you need to be leaning into solving one problem for one person, delivering one outcome. That's when you're going to start attracting those people. That's when your message is going to land. At this level, professional people or executives, females, business owners, wealthy people that are going through a heavy divorce, that's when they're going to read your message and they're going to realize that Julie's my girl. She's speaking at my level. She's speaking directly to me. Make sense?
Yes.
You're not speaking to all events.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Which then now allows you to beat the drum about this. This is now your iconic message. You are here to show up to serve these women. And those women at that level, right, if you turn around and say, yes, to work with me, it's $97. There's a disconnect. They're going to think something's wrong here. Because they've got a bigger stake in the game.
No, I totally agree with you because the wealth of knowledge and the expense that it cost me to get it was really a lot. And so I see the total disconnect for the $97. I just I'm so scared to play at that level because I'm like, oof, what if I don't give them what they want?
So my mentality as a coach is that when somebody pays me, I show up to make sure that I deliver results, and I'll bend over backwards to deliver results.
And I do as
And
well.
there you go. That's all you need. You need that faith and that trust in yourself that you're going to show up to deliver results. So then that there's no room then for asking for having the question in your head or the doubt in your head, can I deliver results? Because if somebody's going to pay you and you've got this mentality that you're going to show up to deliver results, then this other question or this other doubt can't live in the head.
Yes,
You
I
can't have
agree.
both.
No, I really need all of the limiting beliefs and all the doubt, all the things. I need to look at what I've done in life and just say, holy shit, you know,
Right. So that's acceptance, right? Most people, most coaches just need to accept how freaking amazing they are and understand the power that they bring to somebody else's life. Because there's people in the world right now that are suffering with a problem that you can solve at the level that you want to solve it at, and their chance is going to invest in somebody else. Either they're not going to invest because there's nobody else at this level, they've not found anybody at that level, so chances are their situation is going to go spiral and get worse, or they're going to invest in somebody at that level who is not going to show up at the level that you would to make sure that they get the results. Right? So it's our duty to step up, to play that bigger game, pull our big girl pants up, right? To take ownership of it. So let's move forward. So we've now packaged it. Michelle, can we bring you back on board? Nicole, have you got anything that you'd like to share?
thank you.
No? Let's see if Michelle's speaker's working. No, we've got feedback again. Okay, I'm going to move forward because I want to press on. So take what we've just done. It's a very simple exercise and just package that together. Just package that together. And you've created your iconic positioning and packaging. It's super simple. Can you see how it all comes together? But can you also see the importance of it? Because with this now, my client's going to go out there into the world and she's going to start speaking to female luxury realtors that are struggling to sell at this level. So a message is going to land on a lot of struggling realtors that are not ready to sell at this level. Right? So this message is designed to attract people that are ready to play this level, but also repel other people that's not ready to play this level. Does that make sense? And it's also illustrating a pleasure that this level clientele wants to do. And again, that's going to repel everybody else that don't. But it's also going to position Caroline in the marketplace as having unique positioning, because in their head they'll be like, well, how are you going to make me a match for millions? Just like if Julia goes out into the world to speak to wealthy females that's going through ugly divorces, and they have been for years, to position the response method in front of them, they're going to be like, what's this response method? I've never heard of that before. That's going to create curiosity. So this is a slide that I did get, but I thought I put it early on in the presentation. Okay. So again, part of packaging. Female realtors come to me feeling lost, tired, and broken, and leave a match ready for millions, selling 1 million, 10 million listings. That is designed and engineered and structured, elevated to only speak to a very specific group of people. Can you see how that's come together? And that's come together very, very, very quick. We did this within a few days. Very quickly. And as Julie said earlier on, this is something that she's been struggling with for some time. It doesn't need to be any more complex, equally any more simple as what I'm helping you create it here. Also with Jess. Jess is a recent new client as well. And this is his packaging. How to stop nightmare panic spirals in 10 minutes without sending the text that makes it worse. For high achieving parents who wake up at 2 a.m. spiraling shame, fear, and regret and want to approve and reset protocol that they can use tonight. There's one thing that's missing here that we need to put in, and I've put here for this for a reason. And do you know what it is? There's something missing. Can you identify what it is?
The price.
No, we don't lead with the price. So we're speaking to a specific problem, but it's the demographic of person that we're speaking to. Because here we've just got for high achieving parents. Well, we're not speaking to just all high achieving parents. And there's a lot of high achieving parents who are exhausted and they're suffering in silence. But we're speaking to a specific problem. We're speaking to estranged parents. So we're speaking to parents who have not spoken to the children for some reason which they can't understand for quite some time. And they're waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning thinking should they text them or they've not replied, or because he's gone through that himself. And at 2 a.m. in the morning, at one point he was sat at the end of his bed just about to overdose on medication. And he was able to stop himself. But can you see how we've leveled that positioning up? So he's speaking to us very specific who, what, how. So now we want to get into where we're pitching it. And pitching it is also part of packaging it, but I've created a separate element. And we need to have a client success pathway, because it's no longer good enough today in the world to say, hey, this is what I help, and this is what I do in some type of in any form of material. We need to physically be able to showcase how we help people. Your clients need to see clarity in, hey, if I invest in you, I know that I'm going to get results from investing in you. So they need to see in advance of what's going to happen when they work with you. So we need to be able to showcase pillars. We need to be able to showcase structure. We need to be able to showcase framework in how we work with clients. Because most coaches, unfortunately, they're just winging their coaching sessions. And I know that because I spoke to thousands of coaches. Right? And they just wing the coaching session from one coaching session to another coaching session. And they don't progress. There's no moving forward. So your clientele, especially today because they've already invested, they need to understand that you've got everything worked out. You've got the benchmarks, you've got the steps, you've got the frameworks. That's going to give them confidence and certainty in, hey, well, if I invest in you at this level, I know that you've already got things worked out, and I just need to put myself through the process. So the easiest way to do that and the quickest way to do that is better to showcase pillars. So it'd be a case of, hey, so when we work together, this is what we would do. And it's very simple, it's very high level. We're not going nuanced because they don't need to understand nuance. They just need to see high level that you've figured it out in advance of them working with you. So you can say, hey, so what we would do together is we would first and foremost go through this. And then once we've done this, we would work on this. And then once we've done this, we would work on this. And then once we've done this, we would finalize and work on this. And then that's going to allow you, one, to be able to show it with conviction. Because right now, most coaches are not showing it with conviction because they don't know, because they haven't got the level of positioning, they haven't packaged it, and they don't know how to pitch it, if that makes sense. And they don't know how to pitch it in the right way that when your prospective client sees it, they understand it, and they're like, that makes sense. No, and once you do this, I can assure you 100% that they'll turn around and say, you know what, nobody's ever actually laid it out for me like this and simplified it like this for me before. It's understandable, I get it, and I can actually see myself going through it and generating results because of it. So it's just outlining a structure of steps or pillars, a framework that you're going to take them through. So let me give you an example that we built out for Caroline. So the first thing that she would do with her clients is that she would recalibrate their nervous system. And obviously inside all of that, there's specific things that she would do with them in order to make that happen. But that's what she feels as though that's where she would meet them. And that's the first thing that she would work on them with, if that makes sense, right? And then once she's recalibrated their nervous system, then it will be stepping into mapping out their next level of identity and embodying that to lock in their millionaire self. So that's a lot of identity work. And then once she's done that, then she would work on their powerful presence with their energetics. So their new level of identity, she can raise their energetics to be in alignment with their identity. Does that make sense? And we don't necessarily have a fourth pillar, but what she will explain to her clients is that I think in order for you to be able to achieve these results quicker than what you've already tried, then you need accountability. 90-day calibration with Caroline. And that would make sense to them purely and simply because up until now, they've tried to do it themselves. Right? So, and this is what we do on I don't call them sales calls, but this is what we do on a session, is that a mapping session. We actually map this out for clients. I map out my pillars for clients so they can see how I work with them in advance of working with them. So like they say, oh yeah, that makes total sense. So if we were to look at your 4 pillars, when a client first comes to you, where do you feel as though you need to start working on them first? Where do you need to start? What's the first shift that they need? Have a think about the logical sequential order of sequence that they need to go through, the big steps. And we're not talking nuance, we're not talking about tapping, that's a nuance, right? We're talking about high level. Anything come to mind, Julie?
Not yet. I I I keep feeling like I'm saying the wrong thing because I just don't seem to figure out the clarity for myself. And but I do see the system,
Yeah,
and I want to. I still want the results. Of course, I do. Obviously, I do. Um, I think I'm spending way too much time with all the things that I'm still doing in life, and can't really see through the forest of chaos in my head.
that's okay. We just need to extract it from you, right? Because as coaches, we are intellectual people. We've got all this stuff. One, what we're going through ourselves, but two, all this wealth of knowledge and wisdom that we've got that we want to share with the world. And right now, it's just all like spaghetti.
It
And what
does.
we need to do, we need to formalize it, right? We need to formalize it. So I know Nicole needs to shoot. She got a client call soon. That's fine. Michelle, I've seen you put identification. So we need to meet your clients first and foremost where they're at,
Yes, I get that.
right? Okay.
I understand
So
what you're saying. Am I talking to the divorce people without? So here's my conundrum. My ex-husband is so vicious and he's so wealthy and he's ruthless. And if I tell my story in public, because he has spies all everywhere, this is the big fat hang up for me, is that if I talk about my situation publicly, I can do it here easily, but if I do it publicly, he will find out. And then I wrote a whole book on all this. And I have three attorneys reading it, going, you have to take this out, you have to take this out, you have to take this out, because he's going to sue you for defamation, which he will. And I'll have to go through this whole thing again. This is the big fat.
So, I mean, I've not asked you to share your story, but it's important that you can share your story. But can you share your story without involving your husband?
I don't know. Can I? I mean, how
Well,
do I?
why can't you?
Well, I mean, the superpower I feel like I have on this particular issue is that I've been a client, I've been in their shoes, and I've also been the legal team.
Hmm.
So I understand the law, I understand how it works, I understand how to prepare for it, I understand all these things. But how do I tell them without like how do I say this in public without ugh, letting him? I can't.
Okay, so right now we're trying to solve a problem that's not part of this, and he could make this longer. So I need to keep it nice and tight for the duration of this training. But I totally understand what you're saying, but there will be a workaround. I'm sure there will be a workaround.
I need the workaround
Yeah,
because I do know what I'm saying. I just cannot I want to do this clean and let them know I understand and I know what to do. I just need him to leave me alone so I don't have him coming at me again.
maybe you talk about it in a third person.
Well, that's been an option, but don't they want to know that you've been through it?
Yeah, but so the message will attract. The message will attract the right people, and then they'll get to know on a call or on a micro event, right? It's you.
Okay.
So
Yes.
what we need to do, we need to illustrate. I'm gonna have to move forward, Julia.
Sure.
We need to figure out what the four pillars are, because this is just a bit to showcase to your clientele that you've got the steps, you've figured everything out. So when they invest, they know that they invest in the right place. So Michelle, you've got identification. Is that the first pillar? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes,
So have you got anything for the second pillar?
I do. Elimination.
Elimination.
hmm
Nice. And the third pillar?
Recreation.
And do you have a fourth pillar?
Elevation.
Elevation. Is this from your book?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Okay. So there you got 4 pillars. Now, let me ask you this. So the identification, what's that designed to do?
Well, we've talked before, you know, that
Yeah.
I'm talking to high functioning women of faith who are, trying to improve their spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical health in a sustainable way. So the identification part is reclaiming their identity in Christ, who they know that they are. So that's building their confidence back up. But also the second part of the identification is to identify where they are right now. So accepting where they are, what's their pain points as far as is it their health? Is it weight? Is it metabolic health? Is it, feeling like they're stagnant in their career because
Hmm.
of, you know, weight discrimination? Just kind of identifying where they are. So that would be the first pillar, identifying their identity in Christ and then where they are on their journey.
Perfect. And the second pillar?
Elimination, once we identify where they are and why they're not where they want to be, that's also part of the identification. We're eliminating those habits and behaviors that don't align with where they want to go. So saying if they're overweight, how are their eating habits? Are they putting any parameters around that? Are they doing negative self-talk? Any
Hmm.
of those types of things, we start removing those things and addressing those things that are not in alignment with where they want to be.
Beautiful. And your third one?
Third one is recreation. We're rebuilding who they are, like their confidence, who they want to be, the woman that they see their self being. So we start to, after we've eliminated the habits that are not in alignment, we start creating new habits that are in alignment with where they want to go. So if they haven't been working out, let's start with a 15-20 minute walk a day. Let's start adding in nutrient dense foods, actually being intentional about our eating. Let's start waking up in the morning and having a 10 minutes of prayer. Let's have 5 minutes of meditation a day just to sit in stillness,
Love it.
prioritizing themselves.
And the fourth pillar?
Is the elevation. That's where they actually start doing some of the things that they may not have done because of how they felt about themselves. So we're taking on new things as far as that, applying for that new job, going to that conference, going on a trip by themselves, just kind of starting to get into that.
Amazing. So let me give you an example, right? Over last year, I created over 178 premium offers and taking them through exactly what I've just taken you guys through today. We built out the full premium offer,
Mhm.
right? And this is the full package. And this is how we sell it. So this is how you pitch it. Michelle, you've just done an amazing pitch without actually physically stepping into a sales conversation. Because if I
Right.
was your ideal person, your ideal woman that's struggling with the problem you solve, and you walked me through that, but you visually mapped that out. So you opened up a whiteboard and you wrote down. So from where you're at right now, I think the first thing that you need to do is what I call the identification model, whatever.
hmm
And inside of this, the purpose of this, or the outcome, also the objective of this for you is to reclaim your identity, right? And you just talk through what you've just taught me.
hmm
And some of the processes that we would work on during this is, and then just list a few things that you would do with them. And you don't have to
hmm
write that out, but you're just writing the pillars out, the big structure. And
Right.
then the outcome for you is this. And then you mention the outcome, why this is important.
hmm
But then let me tell you why this matters. Right? So you can see here, right? Let me tell you why this matters. This matters to you to go through identification first and foremost before anything else, is that, and then you tell them why it
hmm
matters to them. But here's the thing as well, because if you don't do this, there's an invisible risk. The chances are, if we neglect this, 6 months later, 12 months down the road, this is what's going to reappear,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
So this is, most coaches are not taught to sell like this. They're taught to follow a sales script,
hmm
right? And when you
Right.
follow the sales script, you're following somebody else's words. We
hmm
don't follow scripts, we follow frameworks. But it's
Mm-hmm.
understanding the package and then understanding how to pitch it and understanding doing it visually. And so I would just map out, I would draw a vertical line, sorry, horizontal line. I would map out pillar one. So from what you've told me, the first thing that we need to do, and then I would explain the outcome, the objective, the process, the outcome, why it matters, and the invisible risk. And then because now this is what I call the sales argument. You're justifying to your prospects why this is important to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we've done this, then we can step into the elimination protocol. And the reason why this is here, this is designed, the objective is to, and you follow the
Mm-hmm.
same path. So now that makes sense for that next step,
Right.
right? And then once we've done this together, we would then start the recreation protocol or method, whatever, and explain the same process. So by the
Mm-hmm.
time you got to the end and you've explained the pinnacle,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be like, wow, like that, I can see myself going through this. And
Mm-hmm.
you've sold it in advance of even pitching it.
Right.
But you've sold it in a way that allows you to show it with conviction because this is your baby, these are your pillars. It's no longer something that's intangible, it's something that's tangible, so you can actually frame it out for them. It's visual so they can see it, and you've explained it to them in a way where you've made it where they understand it and they can see themselves walking through it.
Right.
And this is another one that I did. Same process, same principles. And another one, and another one, and another one. Same principles. And they're all designed to sell at that premium level. Any questions?
When you're seeking or you're prospecting for
Yeah.
new clients, do you have a template of questions that you ask so you could tailor it? Because I know that's part of the cutting edge. That's part of the edge that you have when we're doing this high level and high touch
Yeah.
coaching is to make it personalized. Is there a template that you follow of questions that you ask for them to get that information so then you can give them that visual that it's personal for them?
Yeah, so because we are solving, because you're speaking to one person that's got one problem and you're delivering one result, and everybody that you are attracting are the same caliber of people, got the same problem and the same result, the conversation that you're having is kind of the same conversation for everybody because they're all
Right.
relatively struggling. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was saying.
So,
Do you write that out too, like the questions that you want to ask? Because I know
right.
sometimes when you're talking to people, it can get off track. You're like, I really didn't
Absolutely.
get
Right.
the information that I was
So,
supposed to get.
yeah. So, and that's the thing as well. Most coaches don't know how to have that level of conversation where you're guiding that conversation and you're steering
Hmm.
that conversation so that conversation is moving forward. I had
Hmm.
a conversation with somebody, one of my clients a few days ago, and she was like, this prospect, and the conversation that she was having, we were all over the place. And it was
Yeah.
never ending. It wasn't leading anywhere. I'm like, you need to pull it back on track. So I showed her how to pull him back on track just simply. She's like, oh, that makes sense. So now it's back on track. So yeah, you need to have a direction in the way that where the conversation is going, and that conversation is going to be touching on certain elements, and so you're going to be steering it in this line. So you're going to understand what the questions you're going to be asking, when you're going to be
Hmm.
asking them, what
Right.
voice note you're going to be sending,
Hmm.
what maybe visual you're going to be sending.
Hmm.
So all that's engineered in advance. And we know it's going to serve each and every one of those clients. And maybe you just need to tweak it a little bit or
Right.
personalize it a little bit, but it's not too much,
Right. Right.
which makes it
That's what I was
easier.
thinking.
Makes sense, right? So it makes it easier for you to be able to prospect. So you're not having, speaking to Julie earlier on, like serving all these different people with all these different situational problems, that's going to make prospecting hard because
Right.
all these conversations are going to be different conversations. But now it's linear.
Yes, that makes sense. Hmm.
But the level of conversation is all very specific for individuals.
More in depth though. It's a deeper
Absolutely.
dive, but
Deeper
it's
conversations,
more
right?
never. Yeah, right. I
Yeah,
understand.
absolutely. Does that make sense, Julie? Yeah. Any other questions? No? Okay.
Yeah, that's what's it.
Yeah. Okay. So there's only two ladies here. So two ladies here, there's two types of people in the room. One type, implementation alone, where you're going to take what I give you and you're going to think, okay, I can do this by myself and go ahead and do that yourself. And that's cool. If that's you, then go ahead and do that. Second type of person is implement in, you want access to proximity. Obviously, somebody that can help you to collapse time frame, to do this quicker, to do it faster, to do it easier, and to build everything out together so you're not second guessing yourself. And we're hitting the spot that needs to be hit faster and easier. So there's a lot of people that obviously take their own path, and that's absolutely fine. If you are somebody that wants to step into some level of mentorship in with me to work with me in a closer environment, then there's two avenues that you can go down. The first one is to help you to reposition, package, and build out all your premium offer and all your signature frameworks that you need in order to make this happen. So this isn't touching on lead magnets or sales or anything. It's all to do with positioning, packaging, and pitching. So position your expertise, package your premium offer, build out your trust builder framework, which is the pillars, and build signature frameworks and pitch your offer to sell, as I showed you earlier on, everything built out. And that's the 30-day Elevate container. If that is something that potentially you might feel as though you want to step into or have a conversation about, then you can do. Just drop me a DM with the word Elevate. If you want something bigger, for those of you that's ready to 8K, 25K months, so building in the bigger client acquisition ecosystem, which covers your positioning, premium offer, but also the sales ecosystem and client acquisition engine, which is a 90-day sales sprint container backed with a 12-month group support. Then you can just drop me a different DM word, which is proximity, and we can have that level of conversation for that. This basically covers everything in the other one, but also obviously it's a longer container, and it also talks about sales and closing them sales. And that is a wrap. Any questions on any of those?
No,
No?
this was great.
Cool stuff. Excellent. Okay, ladies, thank you for your time. What time are we on? So we've just been over 90 minutes. Yes, just over 90 minutes. Thank you for your time. This is going to be on replay, so if you want replay, I'll drop you a link to that so you can access that. Any questions, I'm going to be here. We can just jump in DMs and ask me any questions if you need. So thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Andy. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
You.
Bye-bye, Julie.
Bye. Thank you.